This is the book. This is the book of Obadiah, chapter 1, verse 7 in the NLT. All of your allies will turn against you. They will help to chase you from your land. They will promise you peace while plotting to deceive and destroy you. Your trusted friends will set traps for you, and you won't even know about it. And at that at that time, not a single wise person will be left in the whole land of Edom, says Yahweh. For on the mountains of Edom I will destroy everyone who has understanding. Shalom, shalom. Before I begin this lesson, all praise, honor, and glory goes to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rakah HaKodash. Double honors to the apostles, bishop, and elders, a great millstone that rule well, and peace and blessings be multiplied on all you brethren, teaching this word in all sincerity and in truth. Shalom to the elect, 144,000, and the rest of the elect out there, shalom. I'm the brother Damar Gabar, here with another lesson, Lord willing to edify through the spirit and power of Yahweh Yahweh Shai. All right, and we're coming into time to where all the allies of America, all the allies of, of Esau, Edom, are going to eventually turn on this man, and the stage is being set, and it's as clear as day. Hey, nobody is pleased with America. Nobody is pleased with the tiny tops, the Pisrael. Everybody is cussing them out. Everybody is looking at them sideways. Everybody is disgusted at, the way that they're operating and the way that they're, conducting these illegal and, wicked wars against Iran, and basically everybody is, feeling a particular way about America and the West, and nobody really wants to be associated with America. Everybody is looking to get as far away from America, the petrodollar, those tiny tops, and this government as possible. And it's going to eventually lead to this prophecy being fulfilled where all the allies of America are going to eventually turn on this place. Because why? They're seeing America and Israel as the cause of all of the problems of the earth. This is why you got countries rationing oil, rationing gas. They're blaming America for the closure of the Strait of Hormuz. They're blaming America and Israel for this unwarranted and, very, a stupid war. And it's going to lead to eventually to, America being isolated and these prophecies to come to pass. And I'm going to read this quick article I came across from The Sun. It says, come straight through. Trump hating socialist, Spain prime minister says Iran war is worse than Iraq as Tehran vows to let non-hostile ships pass through. And what do you have? Spain, which is an ally of America, basically cussing America out. And there's other countries in NATO, and in the EU that have this same sentiment, man. That's not feeling America. That's not feeling Trump. That's not feeling the way that America is basically trying to drag its allies into this wars, and how the decisions that America are making are causing huge financial strains and problems for their allies and the whole country. And people are furious and pissed, man. And it's basically just going to lead to, like I said, the book of Obadiah and the prophecy of America and its allies to turn on it, man. So let's check this out. It says, Spain's Donald Trump bashing prime minister has slammed the Iran war as worse than Iraq, as Tehran vows to allow non-hostile ships to pass through the Strait of Hormuz. Socialist leader Pedro Sanchez raged it was unjust for global citizens to deal with the cost of the illegal Middle East war. You see? And who are they blaming? America, Trump, the West. You see, he's saying that it's unjust what they're doing, and it's an issue and it's a problem, and they're not with it. It says the Mullah regime has hinted at safe passes for vessels going through the critical trade artery following weeks of blitzing anything that dares enter the waterway. It says the Spanish prime minister also said the conflict had sparked severe economic damage and cost his nation's businesses almost $90 billion since February 28. You see? Because who's ultimately suffering is the allies of America, NATO, the EU, a lot of their businesses, a lot of them are being hit economically very severely. And they're pissed, man. And they're trying to tell America and Trump to knock this shit off, man. Let's get back to good business. Drop the pride, drop the ego, we don't want anything to do with it. It's causing too many fucking issues. Y'all need to chill. You see? But America, Trump, and his pride, they're not going to listen, man. They're going to continue to move forward. Now, it's official that America is putting boots on the ground over there in Iran. So they're not taking heed. They're not listening to their allies. They're not trying to hear anything but to what? To do their own thing, man, which is causing America to be hated even more by its allies. It says the socialist leader fumed in Spain's parliament. This is not the same scenario as the illegal war in Iraq. It says we are facing something far worse, much worse, with a potential impact that is far broader and deeper. The Spanish leader, often a scathing critic of his U.S. counterpart, branded the U.S.-Israeli war absurd and illegal. You see? Even your own allies are telling you what you're doing is illegal. Pump your brakes. Chill, bro. This shit is having, what do you say? A broader and far deeper impact than than it should. You see, but we know it's going to happen because it's prophetic, but it's also causing the allies of America to have more and more hatred for this bitch, and eventually, like I read, they're going to turn on her, man, and it's almost to the point of no return. It says Sanchez has also banned Washington's request to have Madrid let Trump use their military bases in his campaign against Iran. You see, and that's major right there. That's basically, an ally of America basically telling you, go fuck off, man. Look, you're not going to use us and drag us into this shit. We've already been dragged in enough. We're already suffering economically enough. And pretty soon you're going to have countries like Spain and Europe and Germany, all of those other NATO and EU nations having to rash oil and gas because their major ally, America, is, their actions are causing their allies to suffer, man. You see? And it's going to only lead to them becoming more and more irritated and pissed. It says the stance has been held despite the U.S. president's threats to cut off trade with Spain as a punishment. You see? So it's just further bringing a divide between America and its allies, bringing more tension. So eventually, what I just read is going to come to pass, man. Yep, it says, but the regime said that in a letter that ships linked to the U.S. and Israel, as well as other participants in the aggression, would not be greenlit for innocent or hostile passage. Sanchez also compared the Iraqi war spiraling aftermath to the latest military action in Iran. It says, outlining that the 2003 invasion sparked migration crisis, terror attacks in Europe, and plummeting quality of life for citizens, Sanchez warned the strikes on Iran could have the same consequences. He said every bomb that falls in the Middle East eventually hits, as we are already seeing, the wallets of our families, man. It says it's not fair that some set the world on fire while others bear the ashes, you see? And this is why eventually they're going to turn on America, man. It's costing them too much economically, financially, and eventually, hey, this hatred is gonna it's gonna become physical, as scripture say. All right, then let me get this and I'm gonna close it. I don't want to make this long. This is Revelation 17 and 15. It says, and he saith unto me, the waters which thou sawest, where the whore sitteth, and who's the whore? America, are peoples and multitudes and nations and tongues. And the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast, which is what? Its allies, It says, these shall hate the whore. See, and we're seeing why these horns, these allies of America, are starting to hate this bitch because of the way that America is moving. It's not only costing it's costing its allies to suffer hugely and profoundly, and it's only going to get worse. And like I said, they just put boots in the ground. Now they're talking about attacking other Iranian oil infrastructures, which Iran said, hey, we're going to go tit for tat for you, man. And and before I did this lesson, I was just reading an article now over there, and I think was it Spain? Was it in Spain? Let me see. I think it was in Spain. Now they're rationing gas over there in Spain, man. They're doing that whole only certain people can go get gas on certain days, and that's gonna become an ongoing trend. You see, as the situation spirals more and out of control, it's gonna cause more and more economic hardships on all these countries, including American allies, man. It's going to eventually cause these nations and the allies to hate the whore, and shall make her desolate and naked, and shall eat her flesh and burn her with fire. For the Most High have put it in their hearts to fulfill his will and to agree and to give their kingdom unto the beast until the words of the Most High shall be fulfilled. You see? So like I said, the Lord is doing big things on this earth and amongst these nations. And he's only going to continue to bring a further divide and more hatred of the allies of America on her, man. Till eventually they're going to double cross, they're going to backstab, and they're going to shoot their missiles on Babylon the Great and burn this whore with fire, man. So I just wanted to do this quick lesson. I saw this and it was just like, hey, man, a prophecy is coming to pass, man. And these devils are, the Lord definitely has this man in slippery places, man. And it's only going to escalate. It's only going to intensify. And hey, man, we almost out of here, man. So with that, Lord willing, just edifying, God praise, honor, glory to Yahweh, Bashem, Yahweh Shai. Until next one, shalom.